Today's card is guidance. Silence your ego's chatter and listen to your inner guidance. Here's the thing with guidance. It is something that we all have within us, yet it is something that very, very few people are encouraged and instructed on how to access it. If anything, the opposite happens, and we are systematically, maybe not intentionally, but systematically programmed to not listen to our guidance, to pay attention to adults, to pay attention to teachers, to pay attention to police officers, and all of these things outside of ourselves. The most powerful force that gets us away from our guidance, our inner guidance system, is our parents. I mean, it's not comfortable to look at, but it's true. A lot of parents do not teach their children how to listen to their inner guidance. They teach them how to listen to their parents' guidance. Now, if the parents are in touch with their inner guidance and it comes from a healed place, a place of clarity, then they will pass that on to their child and teach them how to do it. Most people, more and more people are waking up, but for a long time, people were really, grew up to thou shalt not question or challenge thy mother or father. And so there was a spiritual fear implanted in people to not judge or speak out against their mother and father. So if a mother and father had crappy values and valued hitting a child as a form of discipline and teaching, there's nothing more violating than violence, folks. So there's just a lot of intense and subtle ways in which we are raised to pay attention to others, pay attention to the world, get your guidance from somebody, something else, rather than from within you. And it really is deep within us where we know what is good for us and what is not, what is useful, what is not, what is the right way to do something, something mundane even, how to do something. We might be stumped, but rather than stopping and tuning in and listening to what is it that we need to do, even if it's to ask someone else, it's who's the right person to ask? When's the right time to ask? It's your inner guidance system that will let you know that. But because we are trained to look outside of ourselves, in order to function and communicate and interact with the world, we have to think and we have to speak. We have to form ideas, we have to conceptualize, we have to understand, we have to figure out, and it's all very, 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 very mental. Which is fine, but when the mind is out of balance with the rest of the system, so the emotions, the spirit, that kind of thing, and those are the things that tend to be undervalued in Western culture. And so a lot of us have been raised in societies that undervalue spirit and undervalue emotions. And so our minds are overdeveloped, which allows for a lot of ego chatter, a lot of mental chatter. And so you can end up being overwhelmed with information. The mind, part of the survival job of the mind is to look for what happened last time and how can I keep that from happening again. And so it's a constant loop of fear based on past experiences, warnings from the past. And we then project that onto our current situation, and we may not be getting all of the information. But if we're in touch with our feelings and our spirit, then we know we're okay, because we are spirit, and we know to listen to our feelings. We will say, oh, I feel afraid. Well, why do I feel afraid about this if this seems something that I can do and I can figure out? Okay, I feel afraid because I did the same thing last time and I got really hurt. Well, why did I do that? How was I feeling then? And you follow your feelings and the safety of your spirit to accompany you on that journey to really get to how do you really feel. That can then, enter into a clear mind because you've quieted the ego chatter. You're saying, okay, enough of this fear. I know it's there. I don't care. Let me take a moment to see how I feel. And when you do that, then your mind is clear. You got a clear mind, and a clear mind is good. The mind isn't all bad. This sort of Zen Buddhist kind of no mind state, that's good. That's cool, I'm not against that. But the mind can help you then decipher your feelings. It's about balance, basically. Tuning in and knowing what that guidance is trying to lead you towards, which is ultimately yourself, that is content and at peace. If you're interested in the traditional cards, tarot cards that would go with guidance, I would say that this one is a pretty big theme, and so I actually believe the first 3 cards of the tarot system represent what the Empathic Mystic Tarot's guidance card represents. And so that's the Fool, the Magician, and the High Priestess. And the Fool is our instincts and our intuition, that part of us that's like, okay, things have to change, or I have to take action. And you're not afraid, and you are willing to risk whatever because you know that you got to do something. That's the Fool. The Fool does represent the confusing task of figuring out, is this good inner guidance or bad inner guidance? And when I say bad inner guidance, I just mean the kind of guidance that's going to lead us to the lessons that will get us in touch with our real good inner guidance. So it's all valuable. It's all valid. It's all good, but some guidance will get you in a better place. But your guidance will always get you where you need to be. Whether it's to the lessons or the answer, it's all valuable. So the Fool is that part of us that will take a risk and find out. The Magician I think of as kind of like a teacher, a mentor, somebody who understands how the world works. They understand how emotions work, they understand how thoughts work, they understand how money and the world and the physical work, and they also understand spiritual laws and spiritual principles and the purpose, spiritual purpose. And so the Magician represents a part of us or someone else that embodies that can give guidance to others, who can bring down ideas, get past the ego chatter, and then share it with others or apply it in their own life. And these people tend to have the Midas touch. Well, it's really just an ability to tap into their own inner guidance and take action on it and make it work for them. It's very yang. It's the masculine, active energy of guidance. And then the third is the High Priestess, which represents the feminine principle of an intuition, inner knowing, and the practice of receiving spiritual guidance. And the High Priestess also knows the what the world is about, but it's more about the emotional and the intuitive part of the world, or the shadow side of man and the unconscious mind, and all of those elements. And I tend to think of the high priestess as being psychics, like divination, kind of an oracle. She represents like the human oracle. And so can also be a very personified type person, a tarot reader, a psychic, somebody that you would go to who understands things beyond almost supernatural understanding of things. That is something that is within us. We're all capable of that if we do the work and are dedicated to that kind of path in life. Or it can be an actual person. So that is guidance, and I just again encourage everyone to realize what is ego chatter. Don't be afraid to set it aside momentarily, to really give yourself the space and the time to value your feelings enough to understand them, because they really hold the answers to a lot of conflict, suffering, and blocks to joy.
Let's cut out the melodrama so we can wake up the whole wide world. Let's make up and start all over and awaken the boys and the girls.